Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely Saturday morning. Today I'd like to follow up on a video that I did a week and a half ago that could not have been more perfectly timed. This video is titled, Piracy is Completely Justified. Lewis Tries Netflix and Remembers Why. To recap this 20-minute long video with a TLDR, I wanted to watch a television show that my girlfriend was interested in. And because I'm a 35-year-old man, a business owner and an adult, I did not do what I would have done 25 years ago, which is go to some Usenet indexing site and download it for free. I decided that I was going to pay for my content, like a proper upstanding citizen. So I go to netflix.com, I register, and I decide, there's a 4K package. I could get better quality if I pay extra. I have a nice television, let me use that. I pay the extra money for the 4K copy, and I start streaming the television show, and it looks horrible. And then I do a little bit of research and I figure out how to use some command in my browser to see the stream I'm getting. And I was getting a 720p stream, even though I had paid you for 4K. And it was at this point that I realized that unless I have the right monitor and the right cable and the right graphics card and the right processor type, because apparently certain processor types will not work with this, and the right operating system with the right browser, I'm not going to be able to watch the 4K version that I paid for, which is very interesting because it doesn't say any of that when you're signing up for it. However, if I decided to go the free route, which is use some random Usenet indexing site and search for the name of that television show, for free, I could have downloaded a higher resolution copy than what I would have gotten from Netflix, and it would have played on any operating system, any processor type, any GPU, any monitor of my choosing. There are people who have condescendingly said that this is a skill issue, that I should know all of this stuff before I pay for it, in spite of the fact that when I use any other means of getting content, that it just works out of the box when you double click it. When I go to Fogo de Chao and I pay $140 for a steak dinner, I don't want to have to know all the parameters for cooking it. I'm paying full price for what I got so that I don't have to deal with all of that. That's the whole point. If I wanted, I could go to HEB and spend $20 for the same food. If somebody comes to me and pays $300 for a repair, they should not have to know the difference between PP Bus G3 Hot being 8.15 volts and 8.55 volts on an 820-3437, and whether or not that means that the SMC is not running or SMC reset L is low, because they're paying me for a service. I should not have to learn skills to get around your BS that doesn't benefit me at all after paying full price, you effing simp. My point in that video is not that I don't want to pay for things. My point is that companies so often give you a worse experience when you pay than when you pirate. When you pay full MSRP, full asking price, and don't ask for a discount, you should at the very least get an experience that is on par with what pirates can provide you for free. Unfortunately, many companies nowadays, because of the way media companies work, do not respect the user. They don't respect you, and they treat you like they don't respect you, which is why many people turn to piracy. And there couldn't be a better example of this than what you have today with Sony. This is from PlayStation.com. I'm not reading from a news article. I'm not reading from a blog. Discovery entitlements affected titles. As of December 31st, due to our content licensing arrangements with content providers, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your video library. We sincerely thank you for your continued support. Thank you, PlayStation Store. Now, admittedly, I'm not familiar with most of these. I don't even know if these are TV shows or movies. I'll be honest with you. After 24, season 8 was over, I kind of opted out of mainstream television and movies. I don't really watch any of this stuff anymore. What's important is the people who have paid for these that do know what they are will no longer have them available. And one of the most important parts to really emphasize here is that this is not a streaming service where you are renting something. This is not a streaming service where you get access to what is there. They used a very specific word to describe what was being taken away from you, which I think is very telling. Your previously purchased content will be removed from your library. So this is akin to you purchasing a CD or a DVD or a Blu-ray, and then somebody from Sony breaking into your house, taking that thing that you paid $30 for out of your shelf and taking it back because of a licensing agreement that changed. And this is the problem that we run into when we deal with many modern ways of dealing with content. Even though it's been 23 to 25 years since I first got the internet and a computer that I could use with it, we are still at a point that we were at 23 to 25 years ago where you don't just get a free experience with piracy, because it's difficult to be free. You get a better experience with piracy, which in my opinion is inexcusable. If you are charging money for a product, and if somebody pays the full MSRP, they don't nag you, they don't haggle for a discount or anything, they should at the very least get an experience that is on par with piracy. And the reason I bring this up is because there are many people that will say you are looking for an excuse to steal. In your video, what you did is steal. And it's very important to point out that what is going on here is actual theft. You paid for something. You paid for a television show. You purchased it, and they took it away from you. You didn't rent it. You bought it, and they took it away from you. That's stealing. You paid for something, and they took away what you paid for without giving you your money back. Yeah, you could say that it's somewhere in some 89-page contract or EULA, fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's a rapey bastard thing to do. This, like, I could say you should have seen the powder I was putting in your drink, or you knew I was giving you 11 glasses of wine, even though you said you're an alcoholic and you make bad decisions on it. But it's just a shitty thing to do to people. And there's this thing that people will say, which is like, you just want an excuse to not pay for something. You want an excuse to steal. And many of these people don't actually understand what theft is or what stealing even is. If Netflix is the content owner, but also the rights holder, and I paid them the full amount that they asked for a 4K copy, and I paid them extra to view in 4K, and they serve me 720p, I am 100% within my right to seek out a higher resolution copy wherever I can get it, because you've already been compensated. It doesn't matter if I use Usenet, BitTorrent, email, whatever the hell else it is to get that copy of that content. I paid you for it. I paid you extra for the higher resolution. You did not provide it for me. Since I paid you and I did not get what I paid for, I now have the right to seek what I paid for elsewhere, if somebody's willing to provide it to me. I have always been happy to pay for what I find valuable. You know what I have in my garage? You know what I found while I was moving? This is a copy of SUSE Linux 8.1. The reason the version is important is because this version that I got from Best Buy for $79.99 is so old that I bought this while I was going through puberty. My main source of income when I purchased this $80 operating system that was open source, free, and downloadable for free was, I think I was charging $1 to $2 to wash people's bikes on my block with a rag using the hose in the side of my house. And I saved up to buy the things that I wanted. I believe people should pay for what they find valuable. And I believe that by paying for value, this empowers you in your own life to ask for value when you know you're providing it for other people. It's not just for the sake of being altruistic to other people. It's actually good for you to pay for what it is you find valuable, to not weasel out of paying for what you find valuable. But all too often in our modern society, we run into cases like this where companies don't respect your right of ownership. Whether we are talking about a vehicle, a MacBook, a tractor, an electric skateboard, or media. Companies nowadays do not respect the right of ownership. They don't even understand the concept of right of ownership, and they seek to take it away with every EULA that they have you sign. And as long as companies are doing everything they can to take away your rights of ownership after you have bought and paid for something, you are morally obligated, I would say, to get back what they stole from you by any non-intrusive, non-violent ways possible. If you purchased any one of these titles from Sony that you see here, and you go to a website that will allow you to download a pirated copy, you have not stolen. They have stolen from you. They have broken into your house and taken a Blu-ray out of your collection. And what you're doing is you're simply getting it back in the least intrusive way possible. Because unlike what they've done to you, which is intrusive, breaking into your collection and taking something from you, what you're doing to get it back through piracy is not intrusive. You're downloading a copy that somebody made after they purchased it. I don't see a problem with that. The more stuff like this happens, the more people are going to say screw it and decide to pirate. And this is the thing that media companies fundamentally don't understand. It's been, again, over 20 years and they still don't get it. When you make people that want to do the right thing feel stupid for it, they will stop doing that right thing and they will start doing what they want to do. I understand this viscerally with my customers. I don't want them to feel like they're being coerced in any way, shape, or form. I said this in the last video, and it's worth saying again. You can look in the video description down below. I run a repair company for many of the new subscribers that I have that aren't aware of my background and history. I run a component level repair company that primarily focuses on the repairs that most other repair shops just don't want to do. And rather than do the whole, I'm the only one that knows how to do this kind of thing, so you have to deal with me, I do everything in my power to make my skill set and my knowledge and all my information on core failures available to everybody so that you can choose whoever you want to do this repair, maybe even do it yourself, now that you have the knowledge of what is necessary and can refer this knowledge to a local technician or your nephew or whoever else. In spite of that, I still get business. I don't want people to feel like they are making a decision because I am twisting their arm. I want them to feel like they have every other option available to them, but what I'm offering is such a good and convenient and quality service that it just makes sense to have you do it. Until media companies understand this, piracy will continue to exist. And yes, there are freeloaders out there. We must acknowledge this. There will always be freeloaders that decide that regardless of how much value somebody provides me, regardless of how much they respect me, regardless of how they've treated me, I am still going to take from them without ever giving anything back. You're right. Freeloaders do exist in this world. There are people that you can give a good value to, you can treat as good as humanly possible, that will still treat you like crap and take from you every step of the way. That is true. That is a reality of life in every area. You're not going to change that. But to treat everybody poorly because there are freeloaders in the world is doing a disservice, not only to your customer base, but also to yourself, because you're in the end of the day, you're the one that's going to lose when you treat people like this. I genuinely believe that there is more money and more benefit in the long term to treating your customers with respect, to treating them like partners, even if there are freeloaders. I'm fully aware that there are repair shops out there that have probably done 1,000 repairs off of my earlier videos where I was giving away as much information for free. The C7771 stuff, the C9560 stuff, the U8900 stuff, the U1950 stuff on the 820 3476s that causes a PM sleep SVRL to go up really quickly. All the stuff on repair.wiki that in some cases, not only have I contributed to, but I've paid people to contribute to, that will never in a million years give away any information to anybody else for free. I realize there are people out there that not only will never give back to me, but that have learned all this information and will never share what they learn with others. There are people that will take in all this good information, and when they learn what goes wrong with the new devices, will never tell a soul. Is that going to stop me from doing what I'm doing? No. And conversely, am I not successful because of that? No. My business is still around. I remember 14 years ago when people were saying, if you give away information for free, you can't treat people like that. Nobody who would want to pay you. I'm still in business. Many of the people that said that are not. Treat your customers with respect. At the end of the day, they will pay you. I don't know, maybe I'm a rarity. Again, I was going through puberty when I paid $80 for Linux. People will pay for what they find valuable. And if you treat them with respect, they will treat you with respect back. I assure you of that. And the people that don't, you're going to have to deal with the fact that a minority of those people are the reality of life. But you cannot shit on everybody else because freeloaders exist. You ruin it for everyone. And you turn people like me that are happy to, again, pay for Linux. I'm like the dude that pays for WinRAR here. Decide, I'm never paying you again. And I want to be clear and clarify that point when I say never pay you again. That doesn't simply mean that I will not pay you and I will pirate your content. That means that I will pretend that your content no longer exists. For me, if a show is Netflix exclusive, I'm not watching it through their website, through piracy, or any other means. I will find media that I want to consume because I don't like giving attention in any way, shape, or form to companies that go out of their way to screw me and treat me like garbage. I forget the guy's name, but it's like on the tip of my tongue. It was something like, you don't have to be worried when people are pirating your content. You have to be worried when people stop pirating your content because that's when you've truly become irrelevant. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video.